They're red pill this, red pill that, we're not in the matrix, rah, rah, rah. The matrix is the realization that all that societal bullshit you were told growing up about what is valuable, what is right, what is wrong, and all of that is just made up. Like everything's made up. That's the funny thing. It's sort of like, the way I describe it to myself is that society and all those in society are voluntarily choosing to remain in an elusive dream where there's limitations and rules, and everyone has to agree that all the rules are the right rules. You know what I mean? So sort of like, you know, if you don't believe, like if you believe that there are no rules, you're wrong in life. There are rules. There are ways you've got to do it. You've got to put in 40 years in an industry before you can teach anyone about it. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. You've got to be successful in your business career for 40 years before, you know, you can write a book, before you can do this, before you can do that. And the funny thing is, and what I realized is, all those hyper successful people in life are the ones that didn't listen to those rules. They just said, why can't I write a book now? Why can't I teach people now? Why can't I do this now? And that was a funny realization, because like it's hard. Like for me personally, I'm coming out on the other end of it, but the beginning was difficult, trying to break that belief within myself, trying to overcome those limiting beliefs and all that conditioning from society, that I had to do this, this, and this before I could do this. And it's like, so long I waited because I didn't feel I was sort of worthy enough to follow my dreams. I thought I had to put in more time. I had to, you know, hate my life a lot more before I could do what I wanted to do in life. You know what I mean? I had to go and work 20 years for a company in a specific industry, and then all I could ever do in life is be in that industry. And like, yeah, that never sat right with me. Bloody mosquitoes. So it's sort of like, I guess what I'm saying is, in life, if you want a view like that, go to it. If you want to be a professional speaker, be a professional speaker. You don't need recognition. You don't need money. You don't need success. They're all just elusive metrics that other people use to validate themselves and put you down because you don't have what they have. It's irrelevant. It's been proven time and time and time again. Those who provide value to others are valuable to others. Those who fail to provide any value fail to hold any value in the eyes of others. Like, it's sort of like, it's a difficult thing to explain because there's not much to explain. Do you sort of get it? But it's sort of like, it's one of those things, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and the pieces don't quite fit right. But once they sort of fit, you'll never have difficulty fitting them again. Because whenever you look at any puzzle, those pieces will just fit straight in because you sort of understand it. So it's sort of like when we have the realization that confidence isn't based on results. Confidence is based on certainty. The certainty of the words I say, the certainty of the validity, the certainty of my belief. Ooh, it's muddy. Oh, so floppy. Oh. But it's like, yeah, it's so funny because, like, I would listen to, like, when I was doing sales and I was learning about sales, I'd listen to Jordan Belfort when I was doing his sales course, and he said, like, and this is what I always struggled with, because I was brought up where you had to sort of like go through a rite of passage before you took on responsibility, or before you were allowed to take on responsibility. So you had to work your way up. You had to start at the bottom and then move your way up. And he was talking about one of his first businesses he started before he started Stratton and Oakman. And basically, he was working in meat sales, and he literally got a job with this company selling meat commission only, and did it for a couple of days, and then said to himself, well, I can do this for myself. And it's sort of like, and then he just went out, found a meat supplier, bought some meat, and then found neighborhoods and went and sold it. And to most of us, we feel like we have to put 12 months, 2 years, 5 years into something before we're allowed to do that. And that's the thing that differentiates the hyper successful from the average, is the average run their lives based on rules of what can and can't happen, what can and can't be done. And it's so funny because for so much of my life, I did that and I struggled with that. Because, like, unless I'd done something for 5 years, I didn't feel like I could be the one making the decisions, be the one, you know, like I didn't have all the answers. I thought I needed all the answers before I could do anything about it. And it's so funny because it's the complete opposite. That, I'm going to go wash my feet again, but, you know, that we don't actually, we can do something for a couple of days or a week, and then we can go out and do it. Like, it's not rocket surgery. That's not always a good joke, but, you know, it's not rocket science. And, you know, when doing things like that, we don't need to worry so much. One sec. Hey guys. Ah, little dummies. Yeah. Hello.
Sorry.
No, that's all good. But yeah, so it's like when we realize this, that all I have to do is understand the basics, and then I can recreate, well, not recreate, but I can replicate. And if I'm willing to put in the time and the energy to figure it out, I can figure out any and everything that I want. And it's sort of a liberation. I got heaps of mates like that are able to create something from nothing, like by just experiencing it for, you know, like a couple of days or something. Like, they'll go out there and they'll try something for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and then they'll just create a small business out of it. And it's like, the way my brain was wired throughout my childhood and growing up was impossible. That was the wrong way to do it, the fake way to do it. And it's so funny because once that illusion is broken and you realize that it doesn't really matter. Like, whatever you want to do in life, whatever gives you enjoyment, just go out and start doing it. Who cares if you suck? keep doing it and you'll become one of the best. Like, that's so funny. But the other thing is that it doesn't matter what happens. Like, if you try and start a business and it fails, or you can't make it happen, or you realize that it isn't right for you, that's okay. What we call that in life is an experience. And that's the funny thing. My mindset growing up was conditioned to think that you only ever got one shot. So whatever you had to do, whatever you wanted to do, you had to always succeed at it. Like, if you failed, you lost. And that's the realization when, you know, starting out in my own business and all of that, is that, like, I never failed at anything. I just realized there was a lot of doors I didn't want to go through. And I wasn't willing to commit myself down those paths because I could see the end of that path and it was never the destination I wanted to go. It was always too small for me. And it's sort of like, once I sort of understood this and went through it and had a couple of iterations, because the thing is I was always looking for the right one, the quick way. Not so much that I wanted the quick and easy way, but I was looking for what is the business venture that's going to get me to where I want to be. What is the business venture that's, you know, going to make me who I want to be. And the funny thing was, the business venture is a result of who you are. So like, who you are will dictate what and how you do business, or how you do business and what you do business in. For me, I absolutely love talking and learning and sharing knowledge. That's one of my, why I love sales, is because I love educating my buyers. I love empowering them and making sure that they're protected. And so I take the onus to learn and understand everything so that I can better explain and protect my clients. And yeah, so any time that I would be in a business or be in a role that conflicted with those sort of values and goals, I would never do well there. I would never last long. Because, like, and we all have this, where, like, we all have our red lines or our lines in the dirt or the sand, that if we cross them, we limit and lower who we are in our eyes. You know what I mean? Mosquitoes. But it's like, yeah. So when I realized, like, sort of what I wanted to do, sort of like, for example, right now I'm in the process of proving a couple of theses, but the main thesis that I'm going to prove over the coming, you know, months and years will be basically, it's called a business for change. And what a business for change is instead of me starting a business and creating a business to line my pockets and to line my employees' pockets, I'm going to start it's about starting a business to solve a social problem. Because a business, in my eyes, a business is a vehicle for, like, abundance. Like, it's a vehicle of growth, of opportunity. And you think about it, take for example Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. If they had built their companies with a core mission to, like, granted they're public companies, so public companies are a little different to private companies. The purpose of a public company is to be of benefit to the stakeholders, so, you know, all stakeholders, but predominantly most public companies only worry about the, you know, shareholders and things like that. But basically, imagine if they had set up their businesses to where well, not all the profits, but they pay themselves a wage and all of that, but the majority of the profits go to solving a specific problem that they want to solve in the world. And it's funny because just on rough calculations, it would not cost that much money to, you know, like, I think I worked it out, it's something like $150 million or something like that to put every homeless person in Australia on $50,000 a year. Something like that, roughly. I haven't done the calculations in a couple of years. But basically, you know what I mean? And it's like, how many companies can generate that amount of wealth? How many companies can generate that amount of opportunity and abundance? So it's very important. But all right, well, this is where I'm going to leave you, and you guys have an amazing day. Thanks so much. Bye.